technically, since I'm late, I actually shouldn't review this series, but since I came back only today from well, I don't want to say vacation, but I came back the day to visit my folks. I decided to review this now. First off is the Doctor Stone, chapter 21, and what can we say about it? Well, it has some share of comedy moments, as it turns out that not everyone in the village is super, but Chrome is the only one who says that while there are some with gorillas with superhuman strength, Kohaku is the only one who's nimble. She of course yells at them for first saying I am not a gorilla, and then she gets a very demonic looking face that gives me a reminder of something after she hits Chrome saying that you should all work more nimbly. But then during that stage they get a new ally, a short little kid that is apparently a girl who goes by the name of Suika. She has some kind of watermelon like helmet on her as a hat that hides her face. As Suka reveals to be a very little brat, she talks, well, not a real little brat, but she is a little girl. She talks in third person, and the reason why she is gathering iron sand from Magnet 2 is because she wants to help. She has never been the help of anyone. So, Sinkin just brushes that off and says that I'm grateful. We need all the more allies we can get. Besides, you are very small, so you will easily getting iron sand. Suka is very moved by that, although Koaku is pretty quick to say Senku is not you don't know Senku's darker sides. It's during this time when Suka begins to collect the iron sand, which is that Crow mentions Momotaro, and finally Senku realizes something. Is that while they of course would not know a single bit about Dragon Quest or Monster Hunter, uh, he does realize that they have heard the story of Momotaro, at least a little bit, and then reveals a very fascinating thing. The one who told them that story is Ruri, once again implying her importance in the tribe. I think when they call her priest, I think Ruri's role in the village is basically to collect stories from their ancestors and tell them to future generations. Therefore, their knowledge of the old never dies. I think that's the priest's main mission. Of course, the stories do get lost in history because, as Senku asks what a gorilla is, they mention they have never seen one, but they just say that it has been in the Momotaro story. So Chrome tells the Momotaro story that, well, it's a little bit different than the Momotaro story that Japan is familiar with. Something like a muscular man that is very reminiscent of Kenshiro, being followed by a gorilla, bear, lion, and a crocodile. So yeah, the story is a little bit vague, but there has some similar tones. And apparently Ruri knows them all. All the more reason to cure her, because I have a very big feeling Senku wants to ask the one question: how did all of you people come to be? Because if they are descendants of people that were repetrified, then how many years, I mean centuries was that? Of course, Chrome misunderstands that as well, romance, but well, who knows. Elsewhere, as they gather the iron sand, they decide to head towards the next stuff, which is trying to heat up this iron sand. The only way, but Senku reveals that they need to do it at 700 degrees, because then iron sand will become iron. So the only way they can do that is by doing their own equipment that will pump in oxygen and gather the heat. Alas, though, with the combined power of Kohaku, Chrome, Senku, and Suka, it's a losing battle as they all scream up. Senku even has key-like eyes. As they all collapse, most and realize that the only way they can do this is with more manpower, especially since it will take a few hours for iron sand to turn into iron. Ginro, meanwhile, has become very interested in the gang, but Kinro still is saying that they shouldn't, with rules or rules. But Ginro likewise actually says to him that then why do you have that gold lance? I wasn't moved by their kindness, but Ginro says they were. So yeah, well, Kinro is a little bit a stick in the mud, especially since he said rules are rules, but who knows. But they are very close in getting Ginro on their sides. But Senku realizes they need to find more recruits, that the only way they can find more recruits is knowing more about the people here. What about that muscular guy that said that killed a stranger and then Ruri will fall for him? I think his weakness would be, if we say Ruri, maybe Ruri will fall for you. So Suka mentions that here she can be useful again, because apparently she can turn into an ordinary Suka. I forgot what that is, but and then she can do things stealthily. It's I guess we'll see how that is. But now Asuka turns into Asuka. Detective Suka, as Senku calls her, will now try to find little dirt on the citizens in order to gather intel on what they want, and then Senku can deliver that so they can charm their sides. But however, the battle to create iron wasn't so easy as we thought it would be. The battle to gather the miracle medicine has just begun. Elsewhere, Suka, well, she seems like a cute little girl, but other than that, we don't know anything about her. So give me a false. Do you have any?